Cheers, everybody. In this vlog, I want to talk about being right versus winning an argument. Sometimes they are in conflict. So I'll start with the quick story. I once was in an argument, big argument with somebody. At the end of the argument, my opponent said, "You know what, Steph, you're right, I'm wrong." Fast forward a few weeks or a month or two, whatever it was. And then I realized that I was actually wrong. Not that the other guy was right, but I was also wrong. And the victory in the debate seemed very hollow at that point in time because I was wrong. And then I started to think about it in a philosophical sense, in a broader sense. And I came to the conclusion that being right or winning an argument is not a victory if in the end the idea or the position that you're arguing for turns out to be false, turns out to be wrong. So I decided then and there that winning the argument is not important. What's important is figuring out what the truth is. So when I go into a conversation with somebody, I'll have my positions, my preconceptions, I have my ideas, of course, but I always try, and it's hard sometimes because you can get very emotional when you're in a debate, I always try to seek the truth, to try to figure out what is actually reality. Because in my opinion, if you win the argument but you were wrong, that means in the end you actually lost. For me, I'm always trying to figure out what is true. So in business, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. So if you have a product and you think the product is the greatest product ever created, and you bring it to market, and it's not working, and you try different marketing methods, and you try different sales tactics, you try different venues, and it's not selling, This is where you have to step back, and even though you're emotionally and financially and temporally invested in this product or service that you're trying to sell, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You got to let it go. You got to let it go, because if you don't, you're going to get killed, right? You're going to bleed the money. You're going to bleed money and waste time trying to push this thing. And I've seen this too with companies. People trying and trying and trying. It just doesn't work. You got to drop it. You got to drop it. A product is not your baby. You know, it's a product, it's a service that you're selling. And when you see it starting to get traction, and sales will tell you that, then you can start refining the product and the process according to the data that's coming in. So you have to be a very data-centric person, especially in business. You cannot be emotionally vested in an idea or a product or service that you're trying to provide. And this principle, I think, can be applied to any aspects of life. If you get into a debate with somebody, instead of going in there trying to win, try to go in there with the intention of trying to figure out what is actually true. Even if, as it turns out, what is true contradicts your initial position. Because even if you were wrong in the end, and you've accepted and you've acknowledged what is the truth, you actually win because you've moved yourself forward intellectually. And I have seen in my own life people, a lot of people, who are unable to do this. They're unable to ever admit they're wrong, right? And as a result, they never advanced intellectually, emotionally. And I've seen people over a decade or two, they've never advanced. They've never been willing to admit they're wrong, and frankly, they're not in a good position, in life, and in so many ways, financially, emotionally, in their relationships. So honesty and self-honesty, and ability to acknowledge when you're wrong and to seek out what's true rather than try to win in a debate, for instance, is a key principle that can be applied to all aspects of life. I hope you found this vlog useful. I think I'm going to cut it here at 4 minutes because I want to finish my tea, and then I got to head out to a family barbecue, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, family barbecue. And it's a couple hours away. But I always enjoy my drives on a nice sunny day because I get an opportunity to get on the highway with the convertible, play a bunch of tunes. That to me is one of the most fun things I like to do. In fact, one of the things I'm going to be doing, if all goes well within the next year or so, is a road trip around the US I'm going to get myself a self-driving car. I think they're supposed to come out in about 2 years now, a year and a half, 2 years, depending on who you talk to. And that's my thing. My dream is to do a North American self-driving car trip across the US and Canada. Anyway, I don't know why that came up. I hope this vlog is useful, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Ciao, ciao.